In this pod, we'll look in more detail at how technology has impacted business. In particular, we'll focus on online sales, use of social media, communication, and paying for goods.
Firstly, online sales, also known as e-commerce. This has been a significant development in recent history and will continue to have an impact as trends are moving away from physical shops to buying and selling online. This has its own benefits, as shops don't need to rent expensive stores and may not need to employ as many people, so it's seen as the cheaper option. But it has its limitations too. There are problems related to online security, having the expertise to create and run a website, or even dealing with online payments.
One trend in particular that's growing is m-commerce, which is buying and selling using mobile devices such as smartphones. Businesses have to adapt to this, which is why many businesses now have mobile versions of their website or have their own apps.
Social media has had a huge influence on society and has quickly become the main way that lots of people communicate with each other, whether through updating posts on Facebook, sharing pictures on Instagram, following people on Twitter, and so on. Businesses have to tap into this as well. If social media is how we communicate with each other, businesses need to use it for communication too. Many businesses use social media as one of their main ways of promoting and advertising. Some businesses have even closed their call centres and complaints departments and now deal with customer questions, complaints and feedback through their social media channels.
This leads us on to digital communication. Businesses have changed the way they communicate. We've discussed how businesses use social media as a platform to reach out to customers and to get feedback, but it's not just customers. The way businesses communicate with other stakeholders, meaning other people with interest in the business, has also changed.
When meeting with employees from other parts of the country, many businesses will try to use Skype or video conference calling instead of physically meeting. This is quicker, cheaper, and easier. Some businesses allow more employees to work from home, known as flexible working. As the internet has advanced, it has allowed people to connect remotely to their work login and work from anywhere. This again can save a business time and money, as they can now have smaller offices.
Then there are payment systems. If a business uses mainly e-commerce and m-commerce, they'll have to use online payment systems. But even traditional shops have seen advancements with their payment systems in recent years. One example is electronic point of sales checkouts, or EPOS systems, which automate things like stock control. When you go to a checkout and pay for something, whether this is using old-fashioned cash, contactless payment, or even your mobile device, it doesn't just stop there. The EPOS system registers that you've bought something and will then check how much stock is left of what you've bought. If there isn't enough, it can then flag this to a manager or automatically order the stock required.
There are other day-to-day advancements that have changed how businesses work too. There's word processing software, which allows quicker and easier written communication, and spreadsheets which are quicker and more accurate when recording and calculating information. There's also databases to store customer details, presentation software to use in meetings, and graphics software to create visuals or promotions.
These all seem normal to us now, but think of the alternative. For example, if businesses didn't have a computer database of customer information, they'd need to have a physical document with the personal information of all their customers written down. So if you ever needed to look something up, instead of simply typing it in a search bar, it would require going to a storage facility, finding the physical file, reading through it to find what you needed, and then returning it when you were finished. You'd likely employ someone to do this time-consuming work for you, and this would increase your costs.
We can't escape technology, and although it has its drawbacks, it makes businesses quicker, more efficient, and cheaper. So, if a business doesn't keep up with technological developments, they'll fall behind the competition and might even have to close down.